Hi, everyone, and welcome to the WP Minute. I'm Eric Karkovac. Today, we're talking about an interesting new feature that recently debuted on WordPress.com. Sites hosted on the platform can now enable an AI agent to perform tasks such as content creation, comment replies, and more. It's another step toward automating WordPress. Ronnie Burt is here to fill us in on the details. So Ronnie, welcome to the WP Minute.
Hey, yes, thanks for having me.
It's awesome to have you here. This is kind of an exciting time in WordPress with all these different AI integrations we're seeing. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do over at Automatic.
Yeah, I have been in the WordPress world for, I don't even know, 18 years or something like that. On different projects, plugins, hosting platforms, and things like that before. I've been at Automatic for almost 5 years and also been working on leading some of our projects and plugins that we have in the WordPress space. Then spent some time, we kind of rebuilt and revamped Gravatar for a little bit. And then about 6 months ago, I switched over to join our product team on WordPress.com, focusing on all our AI products and tools.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see how this all works. So feel free to share your screen and let's take a look at what this can do.
Yeah, so I'll talk just a little bit about what this is and what it isn't and where it's going and all that sort of things, right? But this is via MCP, one way that we are bringing the tools and the AI kind of experience that we have inside the WordPress dashboard to the to the AI tools out there that folks are using, Claude, ChatGPT, whatever it may be, Cursor, and all of those things. And so it is a layer in between the tools that just kind of expose the APIs, expose the abilities, and the things that are available to the different AI tools so that they can operate on your behalf, inside the WordPress dashboard or access to what you would have inside the WordPress dashboard. One thing that like a mental model that I kind of use is it's basically an extension of yourself as a user. So it's
Okay.
authenticated as you, and has the same permissions basically that you would have when you're inside the WordPress dashboard.
So let me
So
ask you real
yeah,
quick, how related is this to what we're going to see in WordPress 7.0? Which may or may not be released as we
yeah.
have this.
Um,
Is that like the connector screen that we're going to see? Is this kind of related to that?
a little, it's related definitely to the abilities that have been in WordPress core since like 6.9, the abilities API, and all the work that's being done to expose abilities in a very predictable way. And so those abilities are things like change site title or manage site title, create a post, manage the content on a page, all, and then because it's an API, the plugin authors, plugin developers can also expose abilities. If you are an SEO plugin, you can have abilities for managing the different pieces of the SEO and settings, and form plugin the same, all things like that. And
Okay.
so we're leveraging heavily that core infrastructure that we've been laying the groundwork for, um, to make it so that, I mean, the ideal situation that we're building towards is we have an AI assistant chat within WordPress.com. It knows the same abilities that your Claude or your ChatGPT knows and has access to. And they can do very much similar things no matter where you are working from, including like we have some fun integrations with Telegram and Slack and things like that coming, that where you can the same experience basically, you'll have. Now the connector screen that's coming in 7.0, it's um it's kind of a tangentially related, I suppose.
Sure.
You'll be able to put your API key in for ChatGPT or for Claude, and then the features that um, are within the WordPress dashboard that can connect to those API keys, you'll be able to use your own key. And so then the idea is it doesn't have to be um, ChatGPT, it could be a local model, in the near
Sure.
future, or you can choose, based on your location or your privacy needs or the company that you want to share data with, you get that choice, right?
Gotcha.
Um, Now, this though, are like the MCP itself, you're making that choice of what agent you want to use, not in that connector screen, but you're making it by who you're connecting, or which I shouldn't say who, it's like the AI that you're connecting with. So in my case here, I've connected with Claude and my Claude
Okay.
desktop app. And so it's a little different than that connection screen, but it's around the same goal of giving you that choice of, what AI tools you're using.
Okay. So what's the next step? So I see it says your AI and MCP have been enabled, right?
Yeah, for me, I've enabled, right? So this is an account level setting across, like if you have more than one site, you would be enabling the MCP access across your account. There are exceptions, so you can, like, if you enable it, you can turn it off for individual sites if
Okay.
you're wanting to do that. This also already works out of the box with self-hosted Jetpack connected sites. And so you would come here in the same. So I have sites that are hosted on WordPress.com and some that aren't, and they're all like within this toggle, basically. Um, Soon in the next version or the version after that of Jetpack, you'll be able to do it without coming to WordPress.com. But for now, you can enable um, within the WordPress.com dashboard. And then this is just a good place to come to kind of see what its current capabilities are, or abilities. And so we kind of have broken it down between read and write.
Okay.
Um, and you have site level capabilities, just knowing what plugins exist, site settings. One important thing is that everything is logged to the activity log for the site. And
Okay.
so every action that the MCP takes on your behalf is logged. And then you can also chat with those logs, from the AI assistant. Like, tell me what changes were made in the last 24 hours, or,
Okay, that's
when was this
cool.
change made, or something like that. So that's one of the abilities. And then there are, you can interact with post content, comments, categories, tags. Similar for pages, and a lot of like the global styles, the theme, uh, what patterns are available, presets, the styles and the themes, so colors we can change, or it can pull the colors and know. So you know, a growing list of abilities every week. We're adding more and more, which is making the settings page a little unruly. So we're working on how to improve that as well.
That's a
And I
challenge,
didn't
yeah.
and this is just the read side, so we can go back, and the write is similar. So some folks, depending on what you're doing, you may not want to give write access, so you can keep that off. In my case, because of some of the sites I have access to, I've turned off all the delete capabilities,
Okay, that's a good move.
from the assistant. But if I was managing only my personal, like, for fun site, I would probably give it delete capabilities. So, we want to give that flexibility. Um, and so, what does it actually do, and where is it going? One of the things that I would say is, right now it is, these are the abilities available, but as more plugins add abilities, it does know how to discover those abilities. And so we're figuring out how to let the user, enable, disable, and have control. There's a fine line that we're trying to figure out of, wanting to keep the user in control of what the AI has
Sure.
access to, but that really also hurts discoverability and usability if you don't even know it exists, right? You don't know that that plugin that you're using has registered that ability. You would, like, maybe be missing out on a really important or fun or interesting thing that you want to do. So I'm not going to say we've solved that problem yet. We're very much working on it.
Well, that's a WordPress issue in general, right? With notifications and just trying to declutter, but also give folks the important stuff that they need to know. I'm almost envisioning like Windows 10, Windows 11, that the little screen that pops up. Are you sure you want to do this? Do you trust this?
Yes.
We probably don't want to get to that level of nagging, but at the same time, you want to let people know, like, what, hey, I just installed this plugin, and it's got these different abilities. Do you want to enable read-write access on it?
Right. Yeah, and it's going to be on a per plugin, per site, like it's all important that you have that flexibility to kind of tailor it to whatever needs that you have at that time. There's also the truth and the reality that we're working with an AI that the more tools you give it, the more context it has, the worse it performs, right? These things are not deterministic. It's not like um, we can predict with 100% certainty the outcome of everything that we're doing with AI and the interactions that we have. So if we expose a whole lot more, the performance is going to degrade. Not just the performance like in speed, but performance in like how well it actually does what you're asking it to do. It's going to get
Sure.
confused. Or you may have two plugins that do similar things and have similar abilities, and it might use the wrong one if you're not specific or whatever. So
Yeah, I could definitely see
all
that
these
being open
are
for
fun
some.
problems that we're wrestling with. Yeah, I have just a demo site that I was playing with, so we can use to kind of test and push the limits a little bit of what the MCP can do. So this is just brand new kind of personal portfolio site kind of that I was playing with. But one thing I noticed is like I went to get in touch and I had a contact page, but this contact page is kind of, I don't know, missing or doesn't have my actual information or whatever. So if I go back into Claude where I've already connected the MCP, right? And I give it the link to my contact page. And I just say, let's redesign this page. Give me some ideas. And it just becomes, the point I want to make is that it becomes kind of your partner, your collaborator. It may not give you the best idea. It may give you something you hadn't thought of. And so it's just kind of one of those things that I'm finding useful when I'm feeling a little stuck or not sure. It's looking current state, looks good. And it's going to give me some design redirections that I can then read from and choose from.
Ha, this is wild.
And it's telling me, maybe I had a really long social grid. That seems reasonable. It's correct. So let's figure out how to shorten that up. Do I want it to mock up one of these directions? Sure. So one of the things about Claude is you'll notice it says, let me read the front end design skill. So Claude itself, Anthropic has created some skills. One of them is called the front end design skill. I've also over time been like creating and adding skills. And so one of the things is I have skills about the sites that I work with. So it knows, what the purpose of the site is or my
Okay.
tone for that site. And it'll start just pulling that in as I'm working with it. So that's really the reason to bring these different AI tools that you're working with connected to WordPress is that it's got your full context. Like it created that site with my actual social media links because it knows that from its memory
Wow.
without me having to go and put those in and prompt all that. So now right here in line, it's given me some like a design. Here's the redesign. Do I want any tweaks?
So I
And
like
I'm
that
just
it's
going to
actually
say,
in line rather than, just giving you a document to open somewhere.
yeah, oftentimes it does do like the open and it'll open up in where I can open it up in Chrome or open it up in the sidebar, but every day Claude changes a little bit. It's here in the inline and I'm just going to say, let's build this, replace the existing contact page. And let's cross our fingers and see what happens.
Yeah. Does it take, now, the interesting question, does it take the CSS from your theme, or because it can read that, or is it kind of independently creating something?
So it does know what's in global styles, the fonts, the colors, the things that would be like in the theme JSON. So it's using that. I don't think it's using CSS. Now, it'll surprise you since it opened up in the browser. It will have access to the actual site, and it might be pulling in some context there. That's not necessarily just context from the MCP connection. It's also because it's browsing it, as a user,
Okay.
and can see the source under the hood.
Yeah, I was kind of
Um,
interested to see if what it shows in the HTML mockup, how closely it matches what actually happens inside
Yeah,
WordPress.
I mean, I'm curious to see what happens in this case. This design doesn't look exactly like that site that I was seeing, and it's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
like no background here, so I'm curious to see how it's more of a like I would say this would be more of a wireframe layout, and then we'll see how it matches the designs. I've done this now. I did it twice this morning preparing for this, and it's a completely different experience each time. Um, but that's kind of the point, right? It's great at quick prototypes, and you can always just say no, or you can just try again because it's not super time consuming and going all.
Yeah, and I imagine
So
you could probably revert if you want to,
well,
even
and
just through
that
WordPress revisions.
yeah. So here it is. It pushed it live
Okay.
on that website. It kept the background. It's a little bit different style, but it looks a lot like the designs that it that
Yeah,
it
it's pretty
that
close.
it had. And I have a completely different type of site now. That is the best reason of like we're kind of vibe coding a little bit on top of WordPress. We get all the nice, excellent features of WordPress under the hood. The revisions, things go to trash. They're not just deleted. Like all these safety nets and good practices just built in um, from the start. So I could go back, I can edit this page, and I could revert to the previous revision, no problem. There they are. Yeah,
All right, so we've got it. If we want to go back, we can.
we can absolutely. I can show one more real quick. This one I had kind of preloaded, um, but just shows you kind of a different type of thing you could do. I have a just a side project hobby blog that I've been kind of kicking around for a little bit on Texas history. I've just become like a Texas history kind of obsessed with it. And so just asked. It's got a connection via MCP to the site is texian.blog. Create a PDF SEO report for texian.blog just for the purpose of the demo. I said so that I can send my customer, even though in this case I'm kind of the customer, right?
Okay.
And within 30 seconds, it broke down and created this PDF report that I can open of like an SEO report of this blog. And at first glance, it hit on some things that you would expect in a like an SEO report for sure. It noticed that my um, you know page titles and well, first of all, let's just say because it's built on WordPress, my structure and a lot of the like technical stuff was good, right? Because WordPress is pretty good with SEO out of the box. But it noticed that like my title tags are terrible. Well, I've never even thought about title tags on this blog, and it put it as a high thing, like P0 thing that I should be thinking about.
So
So
yeah.
that's where like I mean, I'm not going to say this report is as good as a true SEO expert, like really spent a lot of time combing through my site or some of the SEO plugins that are out there that generate these sorts of reports. But, this took me 20 seconds at the
And you can
most.
see the potential. I mean, it's going to get
Yeah,
better too.
yeah. And so then what I did though is I said, okay, I really want to focus on these title tags. So, I just said, help me optimize these title tags. What do I do? And this is where it gets really fun. It used the MCP, pulled the actual title tags from several pages, and then it says, let me build an interactive title tag optimizer. And so, like, it built this little inline application of actual pages from this site that I'm building in real time. And it said, your homepage, it's okay, but I have one on one of my ancestors, and it said, here's the title is just his name, but it suggested like, well, let's keyword stuff this a little bit. He was the youngest guy to die at the Alamo. It knew that, and it put it right in and suggested. And
Okay.
so it had the context of the page, context of the site, and these suggestions. The next phase would be when we have an ability that connects with the SEO plugin that I'm using to manage title tags, would be like, okay, go make these improvements, or make these pages. I'm using the SEO features in Jetpack, and I don't think that that's an ability that the MCP would be able to handle right yet, but we know that that's coming.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's really cool. So you're able to go into Claude. You're able to analyze your site, change designs. Now, is there any integration like inside WordPress that like inside the dashboard, or is that something that is kind of on the roadmap?
It's in the site editor, post editor, and page editor, and there I was looking for it on the dashboard. And it's very similar. You can talk to it a lot in the same sort of ways. It'll do a lot of the same sorts of actions. One of the unique things of using it inside the dashboard is like if I ask it to choose new fonts, it will not just give me like the names of the fonts. It's going to show me an actual tool that I can play with to
Okay.
like see them in real time and see how they update in the site editor.
So it's kind of
And I
reminiscent
could
of the
be more
style
specific.
variation.
What's that?
It's kind of reminiscent of the style variation for a block theme a little.
Well, it's exactly what it's built on. Yeah. And
Okay.
so we're pulling in like a different UI component into the assistant for managing those fonts. But I could be like, I only want to only serif fonts or whatever. Or if it was colors, only pastel colors, and it would only offer those examples to me in this little interactive tool. But that's like a really good point that I want to kind of stress is we're really working hard and being super conscious to build it in a way that we expect. This AI world is changing so fast, right? And the tools and the expectations are changing so fast, so that wherever the user is in their journey, wherever they want to work and interact with AI or don't want to interact with AI at all of these options are available. You can be right in the WordPress dashboard, chatting with the assistant. You can be inside Claude or ChatGPT, chatting with with that AI LLM, but with the same capabilities and actions available that you would have if you were inside the dashboard. And that's really the vision that we're working towards, and we're getting really close. It's every day it's better.
Yeah. So where would you see this maybe in a year? Like what kind of things do you all hope to achieve with it?
Yeah. I think one thing that we're finding is I think in January models from Anthropic through Claude and through ChatGPT just got so much better at design
Yeah.
and spinning up, sites like this or better pretty quickly. And so the creation side of it, the initial site, I think we're going to be able to we are pretty much already there. You don't have to just choose one path and go down it. You can iterate and explore like 4 completely different ways of designing or the architecture or the site map that you want on a site within minutes. And then you can kind of get a feeling for or test it with real people or whatever it is. Like it's allowing us um, to have a lot more options and test those options quickly. And I think that's going to carry on outside of the site creation. Now it's going to be into existing sites and being able to know so much more about your existing site, the content that's there. Sites have existed now for 20 years and they have lots of cruft and rough edges or forgotten about things that AI is so good at finding and highlighting and surfacing, and then being able to actually say, "I noticed you have 3 posts about this." That might have been a good strategy in the like content marketing SEO days, but maybe today it's better to have one canonical single source for that content. So let's merge them, and it'll handle that for you. As much as you want it to.
Yeah, absolutely. I could even see it like, a lot of times we get orphaned media images that are no longer associated with a post or a page or something. List all the unattached files that I have and maybe delete them.
Yeah, it'll already do that, actually. That's one that
Oh,
I that
wow.
I've ran, and it'll do for you. And then you could take it the next step further if you're in something like cowork, or more and more solutions are allowing scheduling. You could have it scheduled once a month, like send me a report of all my orphaned attachments and images and remind me. It'll remind you, so then you would know to go clean it up or did something break. The scheduling pieces, you say in the next year. Right now, all of these tools that do scheduling require your computer to be open or on. I mean, even OpenClaw needs like, a VPS or a dedicated computer so that it can be running all the time. I fully expect all of these services within the next year to figure out a way to handle scheduling and cron jobs and things for us so we don't have to keep our computers open all the time. And I think that's going to be a big lift or unlock for all of us. Like I could get a daily, or for my little hobby, Texas history blog, once a week, it could I could have a job to run and find events going on around the state or something, and create a quick report and an outline for a post that I could use. And just the scheduling aspect of it, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. Sounds simple, like it should be simple, but I don't know, I guess it's not.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does seem like something that pretty much everyone could use. Even just publish my post next Monday, publish or set this to a draft after a certain date. Those type of things that right now we need plugins to do a lot of that stuff. I mean, future publishing is already in WordPress core, but there's all kinds of little things like that. Or tell me if this cron job didn't run for a developer. I could
Yeah.
see that being very handy.
We're also seeing more and more usage around like diagnostic, reading the logs and finding, why. I mean, it can do performance audits in different ways. And so um, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I also think these tools that we're building within Claude or within ChatGPT, as skills have become a like a construct that we're all seeming to agree to, which is just a simple, plain text, like of as short as you can possibly describe, paragraph or bullet points of whatever it is you want that um, AI to know. I think we're all going to become like really good at creating and managing skills. What hasn't been solved is sharing skills between people or between different AIs.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's an interesting problem as well. We're setting the foundation for that within WordPress core with content guidelines. Is now a Gutenberg experiment. We're aiming for 7.1 to be part of core, where a lot of that memory, those skills, how for this site, what is our brand, our tone of voice, our values, our value proposition, the goal of the site? How do we want AIs to interact with the site? All of these things, like building it in as a foundation that is going to, so you don't have a generic response or generic experience. It's going
Sure.
to be very much tailored to that site or the purpose of it.
This is really exciting stuff, and I just see we're just scratching the surface here of what
Yeah.
this is going to look like, and I can only imagine like in 5 years where how automated all this stuff is going to be. Ronnie, I appreciate your time and showing us around this feature. Where can folks connect with you online?
With me, it's ronnieburt.com. Has all of my things, my WordPress site, or ronnie.link, my Gravatar profile. It's probably the best. And I would just encourage everyone to just play. This is a time of learning and like figuring this out together. And definitely would love to be tagged or share, you know, any good experiences or places that can be improved with any of these AI tools as we go forward.
Yeah, I imagine there's going to be a lot of creative uses coming, and people are going to be playing around quite a bit. So you guys are going to be busy. I have that feeling. Well, thank you for your time, and thanks to everyone for watching and listening today. If you want to visit the wpminute.com/subscribe, you'll get our newsletter, and you can also join our Slack channel and support the work that we do here at the WP Minute. Till next time, we'll see you soon.